Welcome to First Congregational Church in Guilford, Connecticut, where we say whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Today I'm in Alderbrook Cemetery, which is a place that is peaceful and quiet and beautiful. It's a place that we bring a lot of our people to lay them to rest as we acknowledge their spirit has gone on. On this Father's Day, we remember a lot of our fathers who have died and the complicated relationships, those that were joyful, those that were tragic, and those which longed for more in the relationship. On this day, we also acknowledge our graduates who are moving on to different places in the world. And then tomorrow, or Monday, we also acknowledge Juneteenth, where we try to work diligently to be anti-racist and to recognize that people weren't even told that slavery had ended until that day in Texas when some were still working as enslaved people. And on this weekend, we also celebrate Pride. Pride, a time where we affirm people for being who God created them to be. So this weekend is a very full time at First Church. Online, you will hear Paul Kuehn, one of our choir members, former deacons, who will be offering a meditation for this particular Sunday. You'll hear Bill Speed play our music, and Reverend Reilly Paige will read our scripture. So come and join with us in person or online. May your day be one that is rich with memories and thoughts and blessings. Peace be with you.
Good morning, and we have the honor of hearing Paul Kuehn speak this morning, and I am really excited because I have never heard him speak and give a meditation before, so it is a gift to hear him this morning. And I have the privilege of reading scripture today from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 18, starting at verse 9. Jesus tells them this parable. He also told them this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and regarded others with contempt. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and one a tax collector. The Pharisee was standing by himself and was praying thus, God, I thank you that I am not like other men, other thieves, rogues, adulterers, even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give 1/10 of all my income. But the tax collector, standing far off, was beating his breast and saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his home justified rather than the other. For all who exalt themselves will be humbled, but all who humble themselves will be exalted. May God grant us wisdom and understanding to this text. Paul?
Thank you, Reilly. I'm a longtime member of the Connecticut Gay Men's Chorus, and at our in-person service Sunday, the chorus will be singing here in front of the congregation. The chorus just finished taking our 2023 springtime show to several venues throughout Connecticut, and today, or this Sunday, will mark the 3rd consecutive year the chorus is at First Church for Pride Sunday. Although the chorus will not be singing in this recording, the words I have today about the chorus are relevant for Pride Sunday, and I include them in this message to you. During those performances, when our artistic director, Greg McMahon, introduced our show entitled Hard at Work to our audiences, he informed them that this idea had been suggested by one of our chorus members numerous times for several years. After repeatedly passing on the suggestion, Greg finally took a look at some worked-type themed music we could sing, and he found several songs that could be combined into a creative performance that would be enjoyed by our audiences. I think we were very successful. Our performances included a diverse set of songs about how people really are proud about the many types of jobs they do and they were set to an array of different music styles. We sang some songs from the musical How to Succeed in Business Without Even Trying. Not surprisingly, we sang 9 to 5, and we even sang a song that I'm sure is near and dear to Peter Palumbo, along with all our Guilford youth trying to earn some money for one of their numerous local sports teams, Car Wash. The whole show was a great selection of music. When I tell people about the chorus, I sometimes mention that our performances often include a costume or multiple costume changes, and this show most certainly did that. After the chorus finished our rendition of Car Wash, we immediately started singing the song immortalized by the great and now late Tina Turner, Proud Mary. The music started and our members slowly began to croon the words. After the first verse and the music revved up, with each new verse, a metamorphosis unfolded right there on stage. We first took what looked like the brushes from the car wash props, but instead were wigs, and we put them on our heads. During the next verse, we stripped off our car wash pants, and then in the final verse, we tore down our shirts to reveal gold fringed dresses hiding under those shirts. The stage was transformed into a sea of singing and dancing Tinas, and the audience erupted with laughter and applause. It was awesome. Although we're not going to perform that for the church service, it was awesome. And after the number ended, the chorus wasn't finished. We then offered our audiences an encore. She works hard for the money. And while we sang, a few of our chorus members walked across the stage holding signs saying, "This performance is now or may become illegal in 17 states." And it listed those 17 states. The final sign said, "But we're all welcome here. Thank you, Connecticut." And it was signed ctgmc.org. Our chorus is a living testament of what it means to be proud and gay right here in our state. But what those signs also convey was that being out and demonstrating who we are in the LGBTQ+ community isn't always welcome, and in fact, may no longer be legal if we don't conform to legislation some want to use to control various segments within this great country of ours. True pride can never really happen if any of those restraints exist. In January of this year, after Ginger said to me without hesitation, of course, she wanted the chorus to perform again in the congregation for Pride Sunday, I knew I had to figure out a song that we could bring here that would speak to the congregation and speak about pride. The very first song we rehearsed for this show was "Let the River Run" by Carly Simon, and the theme song set to the 80s movie Working Girl. As we sat and sang those words, I knew this was a song to share with the congregation. It's a beautiful ballad and has been said to convey the idea that some people are getting tired of all the stress from a materialistic and consumeristic society. People want to change the world and make our society more human and spiritual. And the words are inviting everyone to join in. I encourage you to take some time to look at the words of that song today or in the near future. A few weeks later, I still didn't have a second song for the chorus to sing at the congregation, but then Greg gave us a copy of the 70s rock song from the band Styx entitled "Blue Collar Man." Instead of the song being the hardcore rock song I recall from my high school days, the version we sang has more of a rock ballad style to it, and one I knew I was going to enjoy singing. As we rehearsed the piece and I listened to the words, I could envision a person just asking to be able to share their job and do it effectively, being proud of who they are and what they do, simply asking to be alive without being judged. As we rehearsed this song, the parable we just heard about the Pharisee and the tax collector popped into my head. Now just imagine if the first church players enacted that parable right here in this sanctuary for you. I could play the role of the Pharisee in all my regalia, standing behind the pulpit, thanking God I was as good as I am, having committed no serious crimes. I was not like other people, and certainly much better than those people over there who just do meaningless jobs and are just so different. And then there would be the tax collector. You would see this person as someone the crowd of do-gooders don't like just because of what he does. They don't like him because of who he is. But this person, in fact, would do their job very well, making sure all the money was collected from every single person and collected even to the very last penny. That role might be played by none other than Charlie Palouse. He simply would stand off to the side and quietly say, "Be merciful to me, God, for I am a sinner." I'm sure our enactment would be enjoyable, probably amusing, and it may even have gotten a few laughs. But let's think about what's happening in this parable. Some say that Jesus wanted to teach people the importance of praying with the right attitude. A church leader is compared to someone many thought of as having a menial job and who was not respected. But how did each person act? The religious leader shunned the other person just for being different. But it was this Pharisee who did not end up with the peace of God in his heart. On the other side, it was the tax collector who came before God just as he was. And in his humility, he admitted who he really was. And it was he who went home with peace in his heart from God. I see this story as a way for God to challenge us to look at ourselves in the way that we view others and how we behave towards them. Are we ever in a position to shun others just for who they are, or what they do, or what they wear? As a person in the LGBTQ+ community, I can relate to the feeling of rejection this tax collector may have felt. Rejection from some churches and rejection from some leaders who just don't like or respect me simply for who I am. I'm sure others in the LGBTQ+ community could say something about their own feelings of this kind of rejection too. We continue to hear reminders in the news about how people in the LGBTQ+ community continue to be rejected through legislation that recently has passed, or books that have been banned. But on this Pride Sunday, I'm sure there's some other meanings that we can find. So let's take another look at the parable to see what other messages are out there for us today. why do you think the tax collector was even in the synagogue? Although the scripture just read really gave no reason, the tax collector is there asking God to be merciful to him. I believe he is looking for hope. A few weeks ago, during the children's service, Deb Rotolo reminded me that the theme that Ginger, Reilly, and the staff are using this year at First Church is one of hope. In fact, our theme is, with hope, we rise like Christ. So, where do we see examples of hope? Look at who we are at First Church. We open every service with the words, no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. With these words, we offer hope, and people hear that they can come just as they are without any restrictions, and they are welcomed and they are wanted. At First Church, we have or have had clergy, staff, church council members, deacons, people who work with our children and youth, committee members, and congregants who are members and in the LGBTQ+ community. First Church celebrates Pride Sunday like we are here today. We invite groups like the Connecticut Gay Men's Chorus to sing during church services. We march in the Guilford Pride Parade. Through our outreach services and efforts, we support people in the LGBTQ+ community who need assistance. In all these ways, we offer hope, and people see that they can come just as they are, without any restrictions, and they are welcomed and they are wanted. A few months ago, when Reilly told us a little bit about the transgendered symposium that was held here at First Church, Reilly told us that a youth came up to Reilly after the symposium and mentioned that it was good to see adults in an event like this so that youth could see they could grow up. Through what we are, this youth was able to understand we offer hope. So knowing this, what can you do? Tell your family, tell your friends about First Church and other churches like us. When a gay friend of mine told me he went to a church as a kid, but stopped going because he just didn't like what he was hearing any longer at that church, I told him about First Church. We are open and affirming. We have LGBTQ+ leadership. We have LGBTQ+ congregants. We welcome everyone. Where the LGBTQ+ community is welcome, there is hope, and there truly can be real pride. Recently, my partner George and I watched the movie Milk, a biography about Harvey Milk, the first openly gay man to be elected to public office in California. At the end of that very powerful movie, Harvey said, "Without hope, life is not worth living. You gotta give them hope." So, after 40 years, actually, after more than 2,000 years, we still see that hope is relevant, and it still is necessary to offer ways that give people hope, because everyone should be accepted just as they are. Happy Pride Sunday.
In September 2010, in response to statistics that came out that showed that a large proportion of teenage suicides were members of the LGBTQ community, Terry Miller and Dan Savage put out a video on YouTube entitled "It Gets Better," and it basically said to everyone that would listen, if you are feeling oppressed, if you are feeling that you can never escape the hatred, it gets better, because he had been there too as a young kid dealing with his own sexuality. Over 60,000 videos were made in the following months, including ones by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Tim Gunn and Sarah Silverman and Kesha and the Jonas Brothers, all with the same message: it gets better. And please don't think about taking your life, because if you might not be able to see ahead that far, but it does get better. In response to the success of those videos, the Los Angeles Gay Men's Chorus went on a tour of the Deep South entitled "It Gets Better," and then they asked friends of theirs to write a song expressing the ideas of the "It Gets Better" movement, and so this is that song. We feel, we hear your pain, your fear, but we're here to say who you are is okay, and you don't have to go through this on your own. You're not alone. You have more friends than you know. Some who surround you, some you are destined to meet. You'll have more love in your life. Don't let go, give it time. Take it slow. Those who love you the most may need more time to grow. It's gonna be okay. You have more friends than you know. Be brave, be strong. You are loved, you belong. Someday soon you will see you're exactly who you're supposed to be, and you don't have to go through this on your own. You're not alone. You have more friends than you know. Some who surround you, some you are destined to meet. You'll have more love in your life. Don't let go, give it time. Take it slow. Those who love you the most may need more time to grow. It's gonna be okay. You have more friends than you know. Be who you are. Learn to forgive. It's not about who you love, but how you live. You have more friends than you know. Some who surround you, some you are destined to meet. You'll have more love in your life. Don't let go, give it time. Take it slow. Those who love